Let me,
without objection,
the benefit of our colleagues, explain what in fact happened. It's not complicated. It was pretty clear, whether you liked this bill or didn't, it was going to pass. You could tell that by cloture on the motion to proceed with a very large majority. So I don't think my good friend, the majority leader, had to worry about whether or not his bill was ultimately going to pass. The question was whether there were going to be any amendments at any point to the bill. And my conference made a decision, actually against my best advice, to go on and invoke cloture on the bill after we had had no amendments. And the reason we had no amendments is because the majority leader used a device that we've all become all too familiar with called filling up the tree, thereby allowing no amendments that he doesn't approve. And he said, you know, we're open for amendments, but what he means is we're open for any amendment that I approve. So he filled up the tree and, prior to cloture on the bill, controlled whether any amendments would be allowed. And I don't know why anybody should act like they were offended by non-germane amendments. This is the U.S. Senate. We don't have any rules of germaneness. No, we don't. Any subject on any bill can be offered as an amendment. We all know that. Now, the fundamental problem here is the majority never likes to take votes. That's the core problem. And I can remember when I was the whip in the majority saying to my members over and over and over again, when they were whining about casting votes they didn't want to vote, that the price of being in the majority is you have to take bad votes. Because in the United States Senate, the minority is entitled to be heard. Not entitled to win, but entitled to be heard. And so that's the core problem here. And I'd say to my friend, the majority leader, and this is nothing personal about it, I like him, we deal with each other every day, we are fundamentally turning the Senate into the House. No amendments before cloture, no motions to suspend after cloture, the minority's out of business. And it's particularly bad on a bill that has the support of over 60 members, as this one did. If you're not among those 60, you're out of luck. Now look, this is a bad mistake. The way you get business done in the Senate is be prepared to take bad votes. And at some point, if 60 members of the Senate want a bill to pass, it'll pass. And if 60 members of the Senate don't want a bill to pass, it won't pass. And it is more time consuming. And I assume that's why a lot of people ran for the Senate instead of the House, because they wanted to be able to express themselves. This is a freewheeling body. And everybody is better off when we operate that way. Everybody is, whether you're in the majority or the minority, because today's minority may be tomorrow's majority. And the country is better off to have at least one place where there's extended debate and where you have to reach a supermajority to do things. And so I would say to my good friend, the majority leader, I understand his frustration, but you were going to win on this bill. You didn't need to jam us. You shouldn't jam us on any bill, but on this bill, you were going to win. Now, some of us think we were wasting our time because, as the senator from Tennessee said, this wasn't going to become law anyway. And we're sitting around here when we ought to be passing trade bills. The president's asked us to vote on his jobs bill. I wanted to give him an opportunity to have his vote the other day. You guys didn't even want to vote on what the president was asking us to vote on without any changes. But you could prevent that, and you did.